Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chef Guru from guruscooking.com with pão. Pão is a Portuguese gift to India. To prepare this, I've taken a bowl. In this, we'll be adding 2 cups of lukewarm water. Make sure the water is not very hot or it is not very cold. Otherwise, the yeast that we'll be adding will not react. We'll add half a teaspoon of sugar because the yeast loves to eat sugar. And it is time to whisk so that all the sugar dissolves in this warm water. So once again, the water quantity is 2 cups and the amount of sugar we added is half a teaspoon. And once all the sugar dissolves, we'll be adding 1 teaspoon of active dry yeast. And if you have observed, I've just dropped it over the top and left it. Please do not try to rinse it or whisk it using a whisk. Just cover it with a damp cloth and leave it for 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes now, and in the meanwhile I'd like to show you which quality of yeast I'm using. I'm using Red Star Active Dry Yeast, one of the best yeasts in the market. So it's been 5 minutes now, and if we uncover the cloth, we can see the yeast has started forming all the froth at the top of the surface of this water. We'll add half a cup of all-purpose flour here. It is also called maida in Hindi. And we'll try to whisk it with our whisk. Do not worry about the size of the cup that I'm using here for adding the flour. The total amount of flour I'll be using in this whole recipe is exactly 500 grams or half a kilo. We'll add 1 teaspoon of salt for taste, followed by 1 tablespoon of olive oil. You can use any vegetable oil. I'm just using olive oil here. And we'll give this a nice mix, and using our whisk we'll mix up everything. Now the reason we added only half a cup of all-purpose flour here is to begin the fermentation process, and also to make sure that the amount of consistency that we are looking for here is to form a dough, and whenever a dough is formed, we'll stop. So according to my experience, I feel half a kg or half a kilo of all-purpose flour is enough. All you have to do is make sure you keep adding little by little so that you don't form lumps, and that is the reason I'm just adding little by little. So keep on adding, keep on whisking, and that's all. Just make sure no lumps are formed. There will be a stage where you'll feel that this whisk of yours is not going to work because it will stick. The dough will stick to your whisk, and it will not be you'll not be able to whisk it properly. So at that instance of time, you can replace and substitute this whisk of yours with a spatula, and that is what we'll be doing in a short while from now. So as usual, let's add another half a cup of all-purpose flour, and this time we'll be using a spatula instead of a whisk because the thickness is pretty much. So I've added enough of the all-purpose flour here, and I have cut short the video by editing it, and if you can see now, it's almost thick and our spatula is not sticking to the dough, which means we are almost there. So there are 2 ways. One, your spatula is like not sticking right now to the dough, and if you see your dough is easily coming off the walls of this bowl, which means your dough is now prepared. Now if you need moist, soft and really delicious pão, you'll have to knead this dough pretty much at least for 5 to 7 minutes. So I'm just dropping a little all-purpose flour here so that my dough doesn't stick to the bottom of this granite piece when I'll be when I'll be kneading it. And we'll also place some all-purpose flour, dry flour at the top. It's time for us to knead it, and we'll knead it really, really good. So the better you knead it, the softer and moist your paos will turn out. Remember this very important tip. Kneading is the key for a soft pao. This is the part of my hand which I usually use for kneading the dough because this is the hardest part of my palm. After 7 minutes of kneading, I'm gonna take a bowl to which I'll be adding 1 teaspoon of olive oil. The reason we are adding olive oil here is to smear it all across using clean hands so that when your dough is placed here, after some time it will bloat to twice in size and it should not stick to the inner walls of your bowl. Now we'll grab our dough that we kneaded for a long time and we'll try to rotate it nicely so that it comes into the right shape into a small firm ball. So there we are. Now let's rotate this so that all the oil is smeared to the bottom and then toss it on over to the other end and then flip it, rotate it and make sure you place it with the seam side at the bottom. We'll cover this with a damp cloth and we'll leave it for 45 minutes to 1 hour at a dry place and a warm place. When I say warm, it should be as warm as the room temperature. Please do not place it at a very warm place. And after 1 hour, we'll get rid of this damp cloth and you'll be surprised to see it has bloated up into twice as much the size and it looks already so beautiful. I'll punch it so that all the air escapes and it is pretty moist and soft. As you can see, it comes off nice and easy because you placed the oil towards the ends of the inner wall. Nice. Now there is a little air in this dough, so we'll just not knead it but press it hard enough with our fingers so that all the air escapes. And of course I've placed a little dough at the bottom so that it doesn't stick to the bottom on the granite piece. And the only reason we are trying to press it or knead it is because we want all the air to escape. This shouldn't take more than a minute. So I'm going to use my 4 fingers of one hand and the 4 fingers of the other hand at the bottom, press it inwards and using my thumb on the top, rotate this round in the clockwise direction so that you get a nice firm round tomb like structure. And once we got that, we'll place a little dry all-purpose flour, tap it at the top to escape any of the air that is grasped inside, and then we'll try to get this into a square shape or maybe a rectangle shape. The reason we are doing this is because we can cut it nicely into equal pieces, because the balls that we want to gather in the end should be of equal sizes, and that is how your pao will look good. So the only reason we are doing this is because we want equal sizes of pao, and for the equal sizes of pao you need equal sizes of balls, and for equal sizes of balls you need equal sizes of slices or dices. So first horizontally into 3 equal pieces and then vertically into 3 more. So altogether 9 equal pieces of beautiful, soft, gluey balls. So once you've done this, I'm going to grab one of these square pieces, place it on my left palm, and then we'll try to rotate it using our right hand. It may look to you as if I'm using my both hands here to rotate, but the bottom hand, the left hand of mine, is not rotating. It looks as if it is, but it is fixed. So if you observe carefully, only my right hand is rotating in the clockwise direction and my thumb is pressing towards the inside, so that we get a nice firm round ball, which is something like this. You'll follow the same procedure for all these square pieces to turn them into balls. But before that, you can see I've got a nice glass oven safe bowl here, which is square in shape. And we do not want our balls to stick, so we are adding at the bottom a thin layer of all-purpose flour. Smear it nicely towards the inner walls. Grab the ball that you just prepared, place it one by one. There it goes. And all the balls that you'll prepare now will come adjacent to this ball. And make sure when you place them, there is a little gap in between these balls, because they will tend to expand in the future and they'll automatically stick to each other. So make sure when you place them with a little gap, not much. And now we'll cover it with a damp cloth and leave it for just 5 to 10 minutes maximum. And after 10 minutes, you will see that the little gap that you left in between these balls at either sides has now been occupied, because these balls will obviously stick to each other. Remember, the yeast has done all the magic and it looks so beautiful right now. And it's time for us to add a little more magic. What we're going to do right now is prepare the egg wash. Now my vegetarian friends, you may not like the egg wash, so I'll tell you the alternative of using the egg wash. First we'll grab 2 teaspoons of milk. So this is 2 teaspoons of milk like we just observed, and we'll be adding 1 egg to this. So crack 1 egg open and whisk it nicely, mix up everything, and that is all you need to prepare your egg wash. My vegetarian friends, you can just use milk instead of the egg here. That can also work fine for you. So we'll take a brush and we'll brush up, smear just enough, not much please, just a little bit of egg wash is what you'll be smearing at the top of these balls. The only benefit of using the egg wash is that it offers you a nice golden crust color at the top. So these paos that you see in the market, they have got that beautiful golden color at the top because they're all egg washed. We'll now place this in the oven at a convection setting for 25 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees centigrade. And after 25 minutes, this is what you get. Extract the pao immediately and let it cool down gradually for 25 minutes at room temperature. Please do not switch on the fan. Let it cool down naturally. And after 25 minutes, it's now time for me to observe what we have prepared. Such beautiful, delicious paos. Grab them. They are pretty moist. If I can take a bite and show you, they are pretty soft enough. Not to mention this beautiful golden crust at the top, thanks to the egg wash. And thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching pao. Do visit guruscooking.com for much amazing recipes for such amazing people like you.